that case, the risk is not very high. But if it's going to take a lot of time for me to detect that defect, then I would give a higher rating. Okay. So after doing severity, occurrence, and detection, I will calculate risk priority number, which is also known as RPN. So RPN is a multiple of S into O into D. So the multiplication of severity, occurrence, and detection becomes my RPN. And now, what is the purpose of calculating RPN? So there is a standard. Any RPN which is greater than 100 needs to be worked upon, which means the controls that I have is not good enough. Okay, let's do this explanation and then you'll be able to understand. Okay, so let's understand the FMEA steps. So first we have to do is we have to break down the new design process into different steps, identify the failure modes, identify the effects, identify that whether we have any existing control, calculate the RPN, and then take action. So I'll show you how does the typical FMEA template looks like. Okay, so here you mention the process steps. Here you mention the potential failure mode, how this step can go fail. Then what is the effect of this? Then I'll give a severity here. Okay. Then the next is the potential cause of the failure. I would also like to capture the cause here. Okay. Then the occurrence. Then I will mention if there is any control. So for example, if I anticipate any failure mode, I would try to check within the process whether is there any current control or not. Okay. Then detection, that how many times this can happen. And then the RPN will be calculated. Okay. Then I would give who will be working on this action. So I'll be giving an action plan for this failure mode, that what sort of action that I'll be taking. That's a plan action. And I'll give a person's name, target date, and completion. So as I said, for all the hundreds and above RPN, I would be prioritizing it and try to work on it and try to have an action plan on it. And then after some time, probably 2 weeks, once those actions are implemented, I would again do the FMEA, wherein I'll calculate the severity, occurrence, and detection only on those ones which are greater than 100. And then I will have the revised RPN. And until unless my RPN is lesser than 100, I will not deploy the solution. I have to have the RPN lesser than 100 to deploy the solution. That's a standard that needs to be followed. Okay. So this is one of the example that I have for you to understand. So there is a process which is build, deliver by courier. Okay. What could be the potential failure mode? Build did not delivered. Okay. What could be the effect of that? Customer will not pay on time. So for example, I'm a company who raise invoices to get the payments. If my bill is not delivered by the courier, my customer will not pay me on time. How much severe it is? Very severe, because we all work on the revenue. My customer will not pay me. How will I get the revenue out of it? Okay. What could be the potential cause? Because there is a wrong address in the agreement. And that's the reason the address at which customer gave during the proposal was not correct. Occurrence, how many times it can happen when there will be a wrong address? Or there are 4 times. Okay. Do I have a current control out of it? Yes, address verification on process agreement form that we should do address. Detection. Will I be able to detect when the address is wrong? It says 5. So the RPN is calculated 9 multiplied by 4, 36. 36 multiplied by 5, 180. So which means it's greater than 100. So I will have a recommended action against it, which is, so in this example, I'll confirm the billing address during the welcome call, which means I'll give a call to the customer once the order is being delivered, and will confirm his address once again. And then I will give a responsibility and target completion date to the person. And then I will do the RPN again. Okay. Here and again also I identified that this is again greater than 100. So in that case, I will not accept. So I purposefully take this example to make you understand that how critical the FMEA exercise is, which help us to anticipate any sort of failure modes that which are there in the process. So this is how the FME exercise is to be done. And I would recommend it to be do for your respective processes, regularly review it and do it for your, if you do a project also. Anybody has any question, any comment, anything, any example which you want to quote, or you want me to take another example also, anything from your side?
Yeah, Simar, in process runner, I have so many examples of this process flow, FMEA and control plan. If somebody is interested, my thing is manufacturing process. I can share some data so that they can put, they can have easily understandable.
So can you share any example, Vasu, maybe in a, and we can do that. So we still have 10 odd minutes left. One of the steps.
Yeah, I have to share and.
You can share it with a group, right? You're saying you have done it for.
Okay. But how I have to come.
Okay. Okay. Having said, this is a very extensive exercise, requires a lot of efforts with the team, lots of calculations is to be done. But anybody want to share any example of his process, a very small process we probably can do in FMEA quickly and understand that.
Can I share? Can I share? At least we can go through like this, right?
You want to share it right now, or you can share it after the class?
After the class also I can share, no issues.
Okay, okay. So
that is related to process flow. What is my process that we have done? Based on the process, what are the failure modes we are expecting, and what is the control that we are planned for?
Right.
Total one.
Right. Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for being so cooperative, being a team player. Anybody has any question on the FMEA, the intent, the reason, the logic, the purpose? Are we clear with the FMEA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
If given a chance, would you be able to coordinate to do
I
this
can
FMEA?
very quickly. Yeah. I can share one example very quickly. So, like for example, I'll give an example for an RPA board development. So we need to understand that the licenses and the security, permissions should all be in place to actually start the development and then go ahead and deploy it at the server at the client's place. So the potential failure mode will be that the licenses or the permissions for the security permissions are not granted on time. So if they're not there, no development can happen. And if no development can happen, nothing can be deployed. So it will be an unnecessary delay for the process, for example. So we have to keep that factor in mind. But whenever we are planning, we have to see that all the systems are in tune with each other. They can talk to each other, and the proper permissions should be in place before the project starts. So to implement a solution through that, we have to keep those in place. So that can be recorded as a potential failure mode, so that if it is not done, then it causes a high impact to the process time frame of deploying it.
Okay. So let's do a small, thank you so much for sharing the examples. Let's do a small FMEA wherein we have only 5 steps in a process. So let's do it so that everybody can. Sorry, anybody has any question?
Simar, the example Rimi gave was really good. For a moment, I thought I'm on office call, frankly.